All right, hello to anyone who could be watching this. You're watching a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community on the internet that gets together and plays cool indie tabletop role-playing games online. You can find all the stuff that Gauntlet does at gauntlet-rpg.com, where you'll find basically the nexus of all the things the Gauntlet does with tabletop role-playing, like blogs, forums. There's of course the zine that the Gauntlet puts out called Codex, which usually contains supplements to existing games and original games in itself. There is also the podcasting network, which usually contains discussions about certain tabletop role-playing games. Includes like podcasts like Plus One Forward, which is all about games powered by the apocalypse. So right now they're doing a summer series on belonging outside belonging games, which is rad. There's also, of course, the Hangouts calendar, through which this game is arranged. This is session four. Four, yes, this is the fourth session we've had because it's the end of the month of Beam Saber, a Forged in the Dark game of mecha warfare by Austin Ramsey. Got the dash RPG will be linked down below, and along with a link to this game. I'm going to assume that because this is the fourth session, that anyone who's watching this are familiar with what's been happening and what's been going on. If not, I would advise folks to check out the other three sessions. Yes, the first one is like a big character creation, world building thing, but I think it's really fascinating. If you want to hear people getting on the same page, for sure. But yeah, I'll just say, Beam Saber is a Forged in the Dark game of giant robots beating the crap out of each other. Some of them are shaped like humans. Some of them are shaped like harpies. Some of them are shaped like insects. Some of them is just a backpack with legs, spider legs, not just okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. I guess before we kind of get into it, everyone to introduce themselves and the character and a cool thing they did last week, because a lot of cool things happen, even if it's just well, anyway, I'll let y'all figure out your definition of cool, but y'all did cool things last week, for sure. I am gonna go left to right on the character keeper. So Mike, why don't you tell us about our ace?
Sure, I'm Mike. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Verb, the ace, and she managed to really creep out a visiting squad member who was very innocent and sweet, but she had the best of intentions, but managed to terrify him or them with some opera, some shadows, silhouettes, and just general overt creepiness. And yeah, that's Verb.
I love that you took down a gravity-defying mech almost completely by yourself, and that's not what you chose to shout out. That's amazing.
You gave me free reign, Andrew.
Okay, fair enough. Yes, exactly. I did. Lara, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about your character, our infiltrator?
Yeah, greetings and salutations, everyone. I'm Laura. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm playing Crux, also she, her pronouns. Crux is a little odd, not creepy, but odd. She seems to have this weird connection with some uh, technology stuff, but isn't totally sure what. And this stems from being experimented on. Last time she was contemplating swapping out something that a chip. I think it's like a chip, a cube that we got from our last mission with a fake one. And I don't remember if we resolved what I did with that or not. I think I said that I switched it and that I have the real one.
Yes, I think we decided that, and in the interest of, because that's a cool plot dynamic, I'll let that slide. Although I don't know, I might set up clocks for the church to figure out you swapped it with another one. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how we get on today. Bethany, why don't you tell us about yourself and our scout?
Yeah, hi, I'm Bethany. I use they, them pronouns. I'm playing the scout. Hopefully not. But they also have a call sign in case, the clearly fake name wasn't fake enough. That go by Moonshine as call sign. And last time, they and Crux met, I guess, an AI, we think, in a crashed space station that may or may not have crashed the space station and that speaks with Crux's voice. And that's super weird. And JD has no clue what to do about that.
Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Last but not the least, Trev, want to introduce yourself and our soldier.
Hi, I'm Treb. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Naga Latent, call sign Vagabond, who is a former gang leader who was captured after someone sold her gang out to the church, and has been put on penance detail, basically fighting as a soldier for the church to pay for her crimes. Last time, she just had a nice little chat with one of her old rivals, just catching up, and may have said some unkind things about the people she works with.
To be fair, you did call up one of them and ask if they needed help. And the person on their end was like, nah. To be fair. All right. So before we jump into downtime, which is the phase we're in now, I do want to talk about the safety tools that we are using for today. Folks, you want to go to the safety/links/images tab. Well, there's now a picture of the aforementioned ace scout there. Pilot there. I need to put more pictures of NPCs there, but there's also our list of lines, veils, and ask first items. For those who don't know, lines are things that won't be crossed, won't show up in the fiction at all. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not gonna concentrate on it. Like it happens off screen, or it gets a sentence or two. And there's stuff that's asked first, which basically, if we want to introduce him to the fiction, we should put it out to the table first, if it's okay. I'll ask folks to have a look through the lines, veils, and ask first if there's anything you want to add. Well, first I need to move this map so you can add more stuff if you need to. I'll give you all a few minutes to look over that, and if you're all okay with that, just say okay on the chat. All right. The other safety tool we're using is script change. Basically, it's a set of tools that lets us control the fiction a bit. Take a set of commands. Think of like a remote control. Again, the commands we're using are in the Roleplay Party, which I'll send a link to the chat. The three ones that we're using basically, there's rewind, which if we do fall into a scene where folks are uncomfortable for any reason's fine. Could be like a name or the tone of the scene or just the general scene itself. We can any one of us can call for rewind and just kind of start over. Basically, I might ask some questions on what detail we're trying to avoid. Damn, I just clicked on Photoshop. God damn it. starting up now. But if we call for rewind, we'll respect that. We'll roll back and try something else. There's also a pause, which basically anyone else can call for a break, for a pause of the scene at any moment. It's part of like our open door policy, which means like you can call for a pause to the action if if the scene's getting quite a bit intense and like, okay, we need to like slow down a bit, or if there's an emergency you need to take care of, or you need to take a bio break. Any reason's perfectly fine. And you can call that at any time. Or even for stuff like, if you're tired and you thought you need to take care and you need to take care of yourself and step away from the table, that's perfectly fine. And it's part of the open door policy, and that policy also extends to myself. And the last command there is fast forward, which is kind of like what we talked about with veils. Basically, sometimes you want to fast forward if there's like, we don't need to linger on this moment, or, if you need to just fast forward in time, we'll fade to black and move on. Okay, so last session, we finished up our mission and got your entanglements and all the various amounts of bookkeeping to do. I'll remind you all, you still have 2 free floating supply points, but then again, did I explain what those mean? Hell no, I didn't. But we are now in the phase that, that's quite familiar to anyone who's played Forged in the Dark, called downtime, where basically certain activities are unlocked to the pilots, which normally they wouldn't be able to have. So we're kind of like in this weird mix of like free play and downtime, where like there are these activities that you can only do straight after a mission, and you have a limit of 3 activities you can do. You can spend supply points to get more, or to add bonuses to if there's a die roll that gets called for, although you have to have the specific kind of supply points depending on the activity, because there are 2 kinds of supply points. Amazing. There used to be 3 kinds of supply points. Imagine that. And then 3 kinds of supply points and cash on top of that. It was a lot. Thankfully, that's all kind of gone. So I'll direct you all to the reference sheets in the drive folder. Page 8 is kind of like, the cheat sheet for downtime activities, and there is a lot of them. So I will just read out kind of like the opening blurb here. During the time between missions, pilots can have free play scenes where pilots talk with each other and NPCs and perform 3 downtime activities. If a pilot or cohort assists with a downtime activity, except for cut loose, describe how they help and take +1 die. For anyone who's assisting, costs no stress or no downtime activities. But yeah, so there is a lot of them. I'll kind of like go through the ones y'all probably are most interested, but there's like way more there. The main one is, as the aforementioned, cut loose, which is spend time with another pilot and describe what you do. This is the hangout. This is where y'all hang out. Right? These are the one-to-one scenes. I should actually read the wishes from last week, but we'll do that out because I'm in the middle of something. But yeah, spend time with another pilot and describe what you do, and then you roll dice equal to the ticks in a relationship clock with a pilot joining you, and then you heal stress equal to the highest die result, and then you add another tick to that relationship clock. This is how you like mechanically build up those relationship clocks. And this is how you heal stress, basically. Some of y'all are swimming in stress right now. And yeah, and you can always like, let me just look up. Okay. Can you get an extra cut loose? No, you can't. Okay. But yeah, that's kind of like probably the one folks are probably most interested in doing. There's a bunch of other stuff as well. There's the other one I want to shout out is long-term projects, because those are kind of like they're a steady thing throughout all like Forged in the Dark stuff. When you work on a project, describe how your pilot advances the project and roll an appropriate action. These are ways to basically break the game on long-term projects. If you want to work on a project that says, I want to, train up a cohort for myself, we'll do that. Basically, you tell me what we want to do, and I'll say, okay, this takes X amount of ticks, or this takes, X amount of time, and that'll determine how big the clock is. This is also the only way you can add ticks to your drive clocks outside of a mission. It's through long-term projects. But yeah, these are all ways to break a game. Like, oh, I want to make this project where I can get an extra die when I do this action, or I get to roll an extra die. I get to roll an extra die. Or I want to permanently add this to my arsenal, that sort of thing. So there's stuff here that like you don't need, like recover. We don't need that right now, or fix, because y'all are doing okay on that front. There's the aforementioned schmooze, which we talked about before recording, which is improving relations with a faction. Hold on, I need to check something, because this reference sheet is 5.1, while the PDF I have is 5.2, so things might have changed in between now and then. Like there's a okay, okay, yes, all right, that still exists then. Okay, so y'all have 3 activities from this list, and this is like the time to flesh out your base, flesh out what kind of NPCs hang out around there. It's a hidden base, so probably not that many, but you don't want to be like stuck with just the Meridian hanging around. He seems a creep. And y'all got we've firmed up some allies for some folks, and allies for others. But yeah, think of this like before the mission. It's like, all right, we'll probably play it by ear, see where we're going. Maybe we'll add some complications, but this is the time to like do these downtime stuff. I will say that like doing these downtime activities as well, there's inherently no risk. So say you want to work on a project involves sneaking into a building to steal a thing, there's no risk to that. You just use your long-term project activity, and you just do the role. I will not have to make you like spend stress or whatever. But yeah, again, a lot of choices. If you have questions on like what you want like say you have an idea in mind but you don't know which activity to do that for, shout it out and I'll try to help and see what you want to do. If you have no options, train is always pretty good. Train is mark 1 attribute XP or 1 playbook XP. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, it's simple. You add an XP. I will say, do you have a... Yes, you have prowess training as one of your squad upgrades, which means if you train your prowess track, you get 2 XP instead of 1. So that is also an option. I know some folks are close. I'm looking specifically at JD. Your prowess track is close. But yeah, okay, that's enough talking for me. But yeah,
my prowess track is close, and my stress track is also close.
It is real close. That might factor into what downtime activities you want to do. Yeah, I'll give y'all. I have enough blabbing from me. I'll give y'all a few minutes to like think over what y'all want to do.
I already have one.
Ooh, what you got?
So I want to work in a long-term project, which is finding out who sold out my crew.
Ooh.
And the way that I'm going to do that is we see like we cut to a scene of like maybe like the administrative area of the base, and Naga is like sneaking in and looking through files. Basically, she's looking for her own file to see what information is on there that about how she was caught, and try and find something out that way.
For some reason, I thought you were going to talk to the administrators themselves. Like, wait, that wouldn't be. Sneaking in makes sense. I would say this is, let's see, You're penance detail, so not the most important people. I'm gonna say 6 ticks. It's gonna be a 6-step clock to find this out.
Okay.
So if you look at your sheet, you see like there's like a box, there's like a table for long-term projects. Just mark down this what's needed and the name. And yeah, what action are you using to like start this project?
I am using Pro.
Yeah, roll 2 dice. If you have a pilot or cohort, they can assist you. They can get 1 extra die. Allies and contacts do not provide 1 die. Make that clear. So there's a difference between your fellow pilots and your cohorts who work in the same squad, and your allies who are just your friends who don't work in your for your squad.
Okay, I got 2 4s.
2 4s. All right. So 4, you mark 2 segments. And tell me what you find out. Why it's only 2 segments.
I think I find a name like on there, like I find information provided by informant, but the name there is clearly like it's a code name. They've given a code name rather than actual name of the person. So to look for, I'm trying to think of the top of my. We've got a name generator. I'll just use that.
Yeah. I just pulled up the name generator. The pilot, the vehicle name it's suggesting me is called Rental Dream, which tells me I shouldn't pilot that into war.
Just this up.
Wow, Viper Jalapeno is such a name. I'm gonna note that down for future use. Escargot Twilight. Jesus Christ.
Mischief Deed.
Ooh, can you type that in the chat?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Viper Jalapeno got some bite. Hell yeah, Lara. Okay. Oh, I will say as well. You can spend one personnel point to either get 1 die, plus 1 die to the long-term project roll, or increase the result by 1 level. I should have mentioned that before you roll. Do you want to spend 1 so you can get up to 3 ticks? You have 2 at the moment, and you have 2 more free-floating supply points that we have not yet converted to material or personnel.
Yeah, I'll use personnel.
Okay. All right, I'll delete that from personnel because yeah.
So
Okay.
that adds one tick.
Yes, it increases your result level because you rolled a 4, which equals 2 ticks, and it increases the result level to a 6, which is 3 ticks. So basically, that's how it works. You roll a 1 to 3, you get 1 tick on the clock, on the project clock. Roll 4 to 5, you get 2. You get 6, you get 3. If you roll a crit, you get 5 ticks.
I'm looking at chat now, and Viper Jalapeno sounds fine to me. That's fine.
Oh no, we'll go with Mischief Deed. Viper Jalapeno can be someone else. That's just a name I found. All right, I'll put down Mischief Deed for the moment. Oh man, they're all part of the same. All right, I'll keep that thought in my head. All right, so that's 1 downtime action from Naga. So that's how long-term projects work. I assume this is going towards your drive, because you are literally pursuing your drive. All right, cool. If you declare, like, I'll just say it now, to get a rival, you just have to say, if you declare this Viper Jalapeno their rival, they are going to show up. You don't know who they are. Sadly, I don't want to retcon Titania Cradle's name to Viper Jalapeno, but if you declare a Viper Jalapeno a rival, They're gonna show up.
I'm not saying they should be my rival, but they should be a rival.
Okay, cool. Anyone have an idea of what downtime action you want to do? Swing away from Naga a bit.
I definitely need to cut loose. I was trying to. Do you remember? Do we have any wishes, Leandra, about any specific? Bickering?
No, it just says more one-on-one with PCs. Figure out conspiracies, PC interaction, how the team interacts with each other. Yeah, nothing specific on who with who.
Okay. I had a good opportunity to speak with Crux, so I think it'd be cool to do some with someone else. What do you think, JD? Would you be interested in cutting loose with Verb?
Sure, yeah.
A stress reducing activity.
I have a whole lot of stress here that I could reduce.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, the thing is, like, when you're whoever's doing the cut loose activity, it's like one way. Unless
Okay,
you want to use
sure.
up your downtime activity to cut loose in the same scene, in which case, yeah, you can do that. But
Okay.
unless you want to
We
hang
could
out
just
with
do
another
this one
person.
scene.
We get
Yeah,
3
fair.
downtime activities, right?
Yes.
Okay, I only have like a use in mind for one of them, so I'll spend one of them here. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's both of you can then frame what you're doing to hang out, to lose stress with each other.
I'm just kind of reading to see.
I wonder if there's anything that they share in common as like a fun activity, or if it's like, we'll do your fun activity and then we'll do my fun activity. And like, meanwhile, the other will just be like watching and go, what, why are we doing this?
That'd be a fun little montage, like one of us is doing ceramics or something. It's like, come on, it's fun.
What?
Yeah, I was also thinking like we might just kind of explore the theme park a little bit
That
and
sounds like
like
fun. Yeah.
do some rides or something, you know?
What's the ride?
So, well, first we have this old carousel, I think, that we need to boot up, right? Maybe you see Verb kind of like, I don't know, you're out for an evening constitutional or something, and you come across Verb like struggling to like work this like fuse box or something like attached to this ride, and like just manages to kind of like knock it together at like the very last moment when you're walking by, and then
And it lights up.
yeah, and like the like horses and stuff start.
No, better yet, I didn't see Verb doing that. Just I'm walking past and suddenly it's like almost dark and the carousel lights up and starts playing music and turning.
And I come and turn around like, oh, JD, a lovely evening, don't you think?
Yeah, good. It's not haunted. That's plus. What are you doing?
I was just blowing off some steam, I suppose, going for a little evening stroll around this rather, I must say, the most interesting assignment I've had as far as bases go.
It's yeah, it's quite a place, isn't it? This is, there's so much stuff here, and I it seems like some of it should be useful, but I haven't had a chance to really even look at most of it.
Indeed. I'm more accustomed to shipping containers in the desert. This is something different, indeed.
Yeah. So you're exploring this place, and the first thing you do is turn on this ride thing.
When I was a little girl, the priests would take us on horse rides through the trails, through the courtyards of the temples, and just always found horses to be beautiful creatures, don't you think? And sort of like petting the porcelain horses as they like slowly rotate.
Ah, beautiful, terrifying, kind of both.
You know, that was one of the arguments that the church used to justify that this was indeed the old earth. You know, that there were still wild horses present here.
I didn't know there were wild horses. I guess there has to be, didn't there? I thought, I don't know. I guess I thought horses were genetically engineered to be, but that doesn't make sense. Obviously, they had to be wild at some point.
Well, I guess it depends on who you believe.
I didn't know there were any here, though. That's kind of cool.
I hope that that's canon. I just do that out there.
It is now. It's fine. Look, it's our canon.
Herds of feral horses all over the place.
All rabid. Oh my gosh.
Just to punctuate that, yeah, you hear a distant neighing, whinnying.
See, canon.
All right. The big question is, are any of you?
Oh, sorry, Leandro.
No, keep going. Sorry. Keep going.
Tell me, I understand that not all of us are working for the Meridian by choice. Do you believe the tenets of the church? Do you follow their religion, or do you only...
I suppose I would like to believe that there's, I don't know, something out there, but I think that's just a romantic notion more than anything.
So if not faith, and I'm just like petting a fake horse, what keeps you here?
The fight, I suppose. The church seems like the only faction that has a chance.
So it's victory you seek.
Well, not so much victory as defeat of, and I can't remember what it's of Exodus Republic.
Ah, the enemy of my enemy.
You could put it that way, yeah.
JD, what if I told you that this war would never end? Certainly not within our lifetimes.
Well, that would make us being here kind of pointless, wouldn't it?
Perhaps.
Why do you think that?
These wars have been waged long before we were born and will continue to be long after.
Wars have always been, there's always been war, but it doesn't mean an individual war can't end.
Will you find peace in that victory? Or will another war just come to replace it?
I hope not. Honestly, I want to be this to be over. I want to go back to the colony and help them rebuild. And I would just as soon live out my life in peace. But if another war comes there while I'm there, then I guess after all this training with all this equipment, I am obligated to help.
Is it okay if we?
That's a good cut. Yeah.
Actually, no. I have one more question. Y'all ride this carousel at some point?
I'll hop up on there and kind of give a look over my shoulder and say,
These horses are a lot smaller and more predictable than the very few I've seen in my life. I can totally ride one of these.
Okay. I think we'll leave it a shot of. I think when this carousel goes, it's a groaning, creaking, horrible sound once it starts moving. It's not great.
I'm thinking of the one in the park near where I live, but yeah.
And the music is just slightly out of tune.
Stops every once in a while, like the lights flicker.
It's like those like close-up shots of the horse nostrils, like
Okay.
we're laughing, we're having a great time.
Okay, so we should actually roll the getting rid of stress part. So the both of you are using up your cut loose bit. So both of you only have 1 ticks in each other's connection clock. So we'll start with Verb. Roll 1 dice, and you will lose stress depending on that. You rolled how much? So yeah, you lose that much
That's
stress.
5 sick.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Yeah. So you lose 5 stress.
And what does it take to uptick the relationship?
Oh, right here. Yeah, you add
Just
another
once?
tick. Yes.
Okay,
And then
cool.
you add 1 more tick, and you add another belief about that character. And yeah, you can see right there. If you finish up your clock, you get XP. So, but this means whenever you want to help JD, when you have your system, instead of costing 1 stress, it now costs 2, because you're more invested in this relationship, because you all have hung out. But you give them more. You give them more. Yeah, but you give them more stuff. Like instead of just giving 1 die, you can give 1 die and increase their position or increase their effect. So instead of just giving them 1 benefit, you now can give them 2.
I always like double-edged sword mechanics.
Yeah. Speaking of, you said you want to use your cut loose here as well, JD?
Yeah.
So roll 1 dice. Also, now that you've increased your relationship clock, next time you do cut loose with each other, you roll 2 dice. Because you have 2 ticks.
That's a 4.
Cool. So you lose 4 stress.
Cool.
And
takes me down to a workable amount.
Yeah. So yeah, then you add the tick to your relationship clock with Verb and come up with a belief, a new one for them. All right. So I think what we'll do is we'll do Crux's first downtime activity, and then we'll take a break. So yeah, Lara, do you have an idea what Crux is doing?
I think that Crux wants to investigate the cube a little bit. I don't know if we have like a computer I could like maybe plug it into, or if I can just fiddle around with it.
We can say you have a computer. There's like computer equipment there. I mean, it's a base. You just don't have like the supercomputer because you didn't pick that as an upgrade. But you absolutely can have the computer and just plug in. What do we see Crux is doing to investigate this cube?
I mean, I think that we see Crux kind of like huddled up on top of one of the rides. Like it's kind of like her own little secret like spot. I think it's actually like she climbs up onto the top of the old Ferris wheel and is sitting on the top of one of the creaking old carts, and it kind of sways in the wind, and every once in a while it kind of tips forward a little bit like it's gonna start spinning again, but it never does. And so I think that she's kind of up in there, kind of crouched in, and just kind of looking at the cube and like biting it a little bit and like just kind of inspecting it. And like I think that she figures out some way to like attach it to the computer. And I think it starts like glowing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, this sounds like a long-term project. I think this is also going to be 6 ticks for various reasons. But biting it a little bit. Yeah. 6 ticks. And what action are you? Yeah, it's just cube. What action are you rolling played my hand there too quickly. What action are you rolling to like do this up to work on this project?
Like one of the pilot actions?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I would say maybe study or survey.
Survey is about like looking at the land. If I can suggest, this could be interface.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes more sense actually.
I mean, I know you're trying to interface with it by biting it, but
Yeah.
it's its own kind of interface. So, yeah. All right. So yeah, you roll your interface action, which is just one die. Do you want to spend a personnel point to add an extra die?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, cool. So y'all are out of personnel points, but you still have those 2 free floating supply points. I will say that you don't have storage for these supply points, so you might want to use them during this downtime action. But yeah, 2d6. Let's see how far you get along.
All right. Oh wait, no. Okay. 5, 6, 7.
Oh, you take the highest.
So 5.
Cool. So you get 2 ticks to the clock. So just mark off. Wait, I'm looking at the wrong sheet. Yeah. So just you see those boxes here. Just mark off 2 there. And I think so. Why is it only 2 ticks? Do you think you're only like a third of the way through the project? Well, what's like the small bit of insight you get interfacing with this cube?
I mean, I think that when I plug it, like when I bit into it, I think that it tasted very familiar, and I think that there was my heart kind of skipped a beat a little bit, and then when I plugged it in, it just started glowing, but nothing else really happened. So I think I feel a connection with the cube, but I can't put a finger on it.
Yeah, I think you hear that voice again. That voice that sounds a lot like that. Sounds exactly like yours, but it sounds weaker than it was when you met the cube, because that cube was plugged into something and was glowing and pulsing. But here in this crappy Ferris wheel, it's not plugged into anything. And I think you just hear your voice just say, "You don't need to bite me, please."
It's okay. It was just a little love nibble.
What's a love nibble?
It's a thing people. It's a sign of affection.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry I can't nibble you back then.
Yes, so am I.
I think their voice is getting fainter, and as they're like saying that, and it kind of like took them a lot of power or like effort to say those. They chose to waste it on those words. God, priorities. But yeah, you're only 2/3 of the way to the project, for sure. But you've established a rapport, I guess. Okay, all right. Let's take 8 minutes. Come back at 20 past the. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll sort through the rest of these downtime activities and see where your still unnamed insectoid squad is headed towards. So BRB. All right. Yeah, that's someone's rival. Yes. Sorry, I was watching this in the middle of the break. We were playing through the unofficial Beam Saber name generator. Let's see who's made this. Made by Corey McDaniel. Shout outs to him. He just gave us the name Dax Lysander. Which is like, he's a shitty noble kid. I can see it in his, and he does mech regatta. He's like, oh god, he does mech polo probably, which is just mechs playing polo. It's oh god, I hate him. He's my rival. All right, next time I play Beam Saber, it's gonna be my rival. Okay, but I'm not the one playing. I'm the one running this. So, all right. Everyone, I think, has 2 downtime actions left to do. I'll cycle back to Naga. What are you up to next? I know, like, can't really cut loose with only like 3 stress unless you want to overindulge, because that is a thing. If you roll more than you have stress, you overindulge, and we pick from a list of things that could happen.
You know me. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. All right. Okay. What do you want to do?
So I'm probably going to cut loose, but there was another thing I wanted to do, which was schmooze.
Ooh. Okay. So when you schmooze, say what your pilot does to improve relations with a faction and make a fortune roll using an appropriate action. So who are you schmoozing with?
I think I was going to try and schmooze with the rubble runts again. Like,
I will say schmoozing is for a faction, and the rubble runs are independent.
Is it faction?
Yeah. Hold on, let me double check the PDF specifically. Because it does say faction, which, in Blades in the Dark, the rubble runs would be a faction, but factions in Beam Saber are like the big powers. So, and it doesn't say. Let me double check. I'll double check the PDF. Give me a second here. Nope,
it's faction.
Yeah. So.
Faction. Never mind then, because Naga doesn't care about that.
Okay, fair enough. Oh, she cares about the rubble runs, but actually, that's fair. You are under penance detail. Also, you have a +1 relationship with the rubble runs. I added that in because Rip Static doesn't hate you. She was trying to reach as much as she was trying to distract you and get you to go away. She was sincere when she offered help.
Train. What can I train in?
Yeah. I should have mentioned as well. Yeah, if there's nothing else, you can train, or you can do the vehicle version, which is enhance. Vehicles have an enhancement track. When you fill that up, you get a new quirk, which is it's always useful, especially when you're spending them quirks. But do you want to train then, Naga?
Yeah.
Ooh, what are you training?
I want to train resolve. I'm not sure how to because I'm trying to get her more social abilities, but I don't know how to represent that in training.
Yeah, I don't have any ideas on how to build up one's resolve. It could be like, talking to others. I will say right now, it does feel like it's mostly you lot in this amusement park, but you've got support staff. There are other people here, but I doubt Naga trusts many of them, given what
sure.
It's a big area. There could be another squad there.
Set up a card game with the personnel.
Yeah. I think the church is a diverse place. It's not all Verb. I think so do we just get a shot like Naga sidling up to local grunts and just playing cards with them?
Yeah.
All right, we will define these grunts in the future probably. I'll just note that down. But for the moment you're just training with them. Cool. So unless there's anything else you want to color in this little vignette, mark 1 XP. Is there anything you want to add?
Maybe we'll flesh out the NPCs later, but for now that's just it's just a montage shot we see of her dealing in.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Sorry, I'm just clicking through the name generator now. All right. I'll keep in mind to add some grunts. I'll probably ask you later who who beat you at cards or who you beat at cards. This is training. Okay. I will say you can change your drives, but you do need to spend a drive clock to do that. If you want to change Verb's drive to become God, you can do that while spending a drive clock to do what drive clocks do. But yeah, let's turn to the other three. What downtime actions y'all want to do? Again, if you want some suggestions, I have some, like, some long-term projects, or beefing up yourself or your mech. Jeez, all these God questions.
I have an idea for a downtime activity that I'd like to do.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to play with my my mech on the roller coasters. And I'd be happy for some company if anybody else would be interested in something like that.
You do have stress to burn.
I do.
All right, who wants to join Crux in this rather dangerous sounding activity?
Parkour.
Yeah.
Can I do that as training?
Yeah. You can frame that as training. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. Because I do have a half full prowess track here.
Hell yeah. So I guess just to frame the scene, did Crux invite anyone, as in like in character invite anyone, or did once again JD wandering around this theme park comes across their another weirdo teammate?
I think that Crux probably approached JD and was like, it probably has on their back, like half has on their backpack. It's like, hey, want to go do something fun?
Yeah, sure. I'm just sitting around here. Let's what do you got in mind?
Do you trust me?
I trust you to not get me killed doing something fun.
Come on. And Crux is gonna take their hand, if that's okay, and drag them out and say, grab your mech.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that we could probably cut to a montage of various, spider legs crawling down like big loop-de-loops and, rocketing down various things.
The moth mech just like picks you up with its long coiling tongue and like sets you on top of a roller coaster.
I forgot about the tongue. God. That's a lot. That is a lot. Do you folks talk after this montage of hanging out? Oh, and JD can mark 2 XP in that prowess track then.
Oh, excellent. There is a thing I want to talk to Crux about, actually. What was... How did that thing get your voice?
I think that Crux kind of slowly looks up at JD. I really don't know. I've never seen anything or heard anything like this before. I don't know. It almost seems like it's like a part of me, or like it's connected to me in some way. I feel it right here. I don't know.
That's so much worse than my theory, which was just that it heard you talking and thought you're like, I don't know why it would decide to imitate your voice, but So you like grew up with the church, right?
Not exactly. I mean, yes, as long as I can remember. But I was once part of another faction, and then the church kind of adopted me. They said that they could save me.
Which
so
other
right
faction?
Being saved. The corporatocracy, I think is what they're called.
Ah,
Not too fond of them.
no, neither am I.
They weren't very nice to me.
There's a lot of people they're not very nice to. But so apparently they programmed their spaceship or their space station AI with your voice. So that's weird.
I guess I have
Okay.
that effect on people. You know, just really like my voice.
Just that charming.
It's my smooth, sultry, like docile tones. You know, it's just really it's really nice to hear. JD, can you keep a secret?
Yeah, I can.
Crux is gonna pull out the cube from their pocket and say, "I didn't give it to the, yeah. It still talks to me.
You did give them something, right?
Oh yeah, I'm not stupid."
Okay. No, this is. Have you looked at it? Have you?
No, I just taught it what a love bite was.
Okay. That's something you could do for sure.
I didn't really know what else to do with it, you know? I've never really come across anything like this before.
Ask it what it is. Ask it why it has your voice.
You know? But I think that this established some good rapport. I think that we need to build up to that, you know? Love bites. And what are you? Then
Okay, yeah. I guess I could see that. That's some people don't react well to prying questions, although I don't think an AI I've never heard of an AI not liking prying questions, but usually they just say they can't answer. But okay, sure. So no idea why it seems to be based on you, huh? Okay. That's that I don't know. That I'd be worried if I were you, but if you're not, I guess that's good.
Oh no, I'm always worried. It's like my main personality trait.
Right, okay. I mean, I wonder if you're the only one. I wonder if there's maybe more people with AIs apparently based on them somewhere out there. It's a little creepy.
God, I hope not. They'd have to explain what love bites are to them too. That was so awkward.
I guess so, yeah. That would be pretty awkward, but I'm not even gonna ask.
That sounds like a good place to cut that scene. Okay, so JD, that was your train activity, but Crux, this was your cut loose. So roll me a d6. So JD, you don't develop a new belief about Crux, but Crux develops a new belief about JD. But yeah, roll me a d6 there. Crux.
All right, that was a 4 for me.
Cool. So you lose 4 stress.
Yay!
Which is fab. All right, so we leave these two hanging out probably at the top of a roller coaster, where Moth Mech is perched there. It's not the stealthiest thing, honestly. Like if anyone in in the broken pack would just like, oh, there's a Moth Mech up there. What's up with that? But you know, a lot of weird mechs around these parts. You to emphasize that this is a city like, you know, amidst a war, so maybe like during all these scenes you do hear like the puff sounds of artillery in the distance. Sometimes you see what looks like shooting stars, but no, they're spaceships. You know how it is, but this is your downtime. You're not called into a mission yet. Verb, what's your second downtime activity?
I think I'd like to take advantage of our squad ability and do some schmoozing.
You would be the one who would want to schmooze with the church.
So yeah, can we schmooze with the church or only with
Oh,
other?
it says with a faction, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so the church.
yeah, so like, okay, I'm just trying to remember.
It's
We don't
using
have
an appropriate
trust.
action. So, oh, go ahead.
So we don't have trust with the church, is that right?
No, you have. Let's see. Let me double check. It's in your the recon sheet. You have one,
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 trust. You need 3 more, a total of 9, to bump up your relationship status with them. And schmoozing would be the way to do it. During downtime, and depending on the result of your roll. And you can spend 1 personal point to add an extra die to schmooze roll, but you already have, along with the extra one you already get from your ability.
Or I could try to smooth things over with Exodus Republic.
You can try, yeah, you can absolutely, yes, you absolutely can. It's just, I mean, sure, I'm not going to stop you. If you want to schmooze things with them, you absolutely can. I'm just like, okay, all right, I didn't expect this. But I'm not going to stop you if you want to do that.
No, I think it'd probably be good to get the church a little bit more on our good side. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. Okay, so what does that look like when Verb is like trying to improve relations between you and the church?
So, I think she's maybe getting in contact with the Meridian or some group. And
Yeah.
ultimately, I'm giving a little bit of a mission debrief, a little bit of an update, and ultimately, I want to bring up the fact that our squad has not yet been named.
Yeah, I think, yeah, there's definitely a talk with the Meridian, who I should remind myself, talks in a monotone, weird voice. And I think like as you're talking, he just kind of like, he's got like, he's perfectly poised and whatnot. And he just says, why choose the direction you chose with your dealings with the cenotaph?
The cenotaph, when it comes to their request to requisition our equipment,
Yes.
I did my very best to offer a discussion with them. Unfortunately, their representative was not interested in any sort of discussion.
Hmm. Well, I do believe you, out of your squad, did your best. Unfortunately, your squad seems to have gone out of their way to do their worst.
I am most proud of my squad, Meridian. You must understand that is why I believe we were so adamant about maintaining our resources and facilities, because we're all doing our very best to show the church just how valuable we are.
Perhaps your squad values themselves more than how much the church values you. Perhaps that is why your squad is yet to be given a name. I suggest, let me look up your full name. I suggest Reverberation Nobel, that you should seek to bind your squad closer to the church, for they seem to be drifting.
We may lack humility. A very astute observation, Meridian. Tell me, what would be an ideal act of devotion to demonstrate our faith?
Amends. The cenotaph is not lacking for troubles. After all, they serve a holy purpose. But they could always use support from those within our church.
So,
If you want me to be a bit more clear than because I'm playing a faceless church official, I want to be more clear with what the Meridian's saying.
I was just going to say,
sorry.
mechanically, meta-wise, I can spend personnel to increase the smooth roll.
Yes,
So maybe that's sort of like a fictional way of like showing like we will offer some of our resources as an offering to our cenotaph siblings.
Yeah. Oh, I did. I've should have been a bit more clear. The Meridian's saying do a mission with them.
Oh, so you wish us to put not only our goods but our lives on the line? I suppose the church would ask nothing less.
Is that not what we do for the church in these trying times?
Some of us, perhaps the most fortunate.
Okay, cool. But you still have to. We still have to make a roll too.
Not you, boss.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, it's okay to cut that scene there. That line. Yeah. Cool. So schmoozing, because schmoozing works for factions, not like for like squads. For squads, you bump up the relationship by doing stuff that's beneficial to them in missions. But factions, this is the move to do that. So, what action do you think you're rolling with?
So I think a fortune roll using an appropriate action. Okay, cool.
Yes. So specifically a pilot action.
Pilot action would be probably.
If you want, I can make a suggestion.
Is it sway or consort? Would you say?
I would say it's consort because you're trying to make a good impression.
They're both
the Meridian's an out. So. Yeah. Also, yes, consort has a point in it.
Yes.
Okay, so you get one die. You get a second die thanks to your slippery special ability. So it's already paying off. You can spend a personal point to get a third die, or if you want, you can use it later to bump up the result level. So it's either 3 dice or you spend it later to bump up your result.
I'll just spend it to get an extra die.
Cool. 3d6, and you take the highest.
Okay.
Remember, you rolled 4 3s one time.
Yeah, I'm probably about to again. I'm gonna re-roll this one and then roll 2 more. All right, that was a 1. Yay. I think I was doing blue here. Yup. Okay, got a 6.
Hell yeah. So on a 6, you get 3 trust. Oh, you can increase the trust according to the result. Yeah, 3. So that actually fills you back up. You are no longer -1 with the church.
Yay.
So yeah, I think you're now back to you're now at +1. I think. Yes. Yeah. Or 0. I'll check it out later. But definitely, you're no longer -1. And yeah, I think like yeah, beforehand, the Meridian's probably just been like avoiding y'all, and there is like that's why the base has felt lonely-ish because Church was like they're being weirdos over there. Why did they do that? I will add that like probably all of you get a communique from the Meridian saying that the leader of the cenotaph, Alaya Friedland, is going to be on her way soon to propose a mission. Foster support.
Yay. And just to make sure, because I wasn't sure how many supply points we had. It looked like we had 2, and then I just devoted 1 to personnel and then used it up. So we
Yes.
have 1 supply point left. Okay. Cool,
Yes. Okay. Y'all have 1 more downtime activity. Don't worry. First downtime always takes this long. It's fine. I'm not worried about it. So I'm looking at the time. But yeah, let me round back to Naga. Is this where you want to cut loose now?
Yeah, I'm still not sure who to cut loose with. Like JD was going to be the obvious pick, but like everybody wants to have like cut loose with JD, so I think maybe we should try something different.
Everyone just want to hang out with JD. What's up with that? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but they are the most relatable. They're not every person, you know. Everyone else is weird.
My other idea was that I think Naga would probably be the kind of person that like would want to explore the nooks and crannies of the FOB and like basically find secret hideaways or maybe like escape routes if it comes to that. And maybe she would come across Crux while doing so.
Yeah, that sounds like something Crux would be doing.
Yeah. So yeah, good 2 choices. Which one do you want to go for?
I think I have a good idea of where Naga is with JD, so I think I want to explore where she is with Crux.
Okay. So where do you find Crux?
I think like if it's okay, like maybe she comes across you while you're looking at the box, but you can maybe hide it or something before she sees.
Yeah. And I think that it would be okay even if you saw like her like putting something away and you weren't totally sure like what it is, but you see her like clearly hiding something.
Crux, what you doing? Here. What's up?
Here? Nothing?
Yeah.
I'm doing nothing. What are you doing here?
I'm also doing nothing. No, but seriously, I just want it's a good idea to like know the layout of the place you're hiding out in. Just in case you need to get out or get around fast in a hurry, or you just want somewhere to get away from people and do your own thing.
Yeah, that is why I am here. I am the layout. Yes. Air vents and tunnels and escape routes. I found one here. She points at a dead end.
Needs a little work, I'd say.
Yeah. It's not really my strongest suit. I have a terrible sense of direction.
Uh, yeah, and do I see any signs that this has been used like frequently?
Sorry, repeat that. My audio cut
Do,
out.
do I see any signs around here that you've used this spot frequently, or?
Yeah, I think that there are probably some cigarette stubs, and maybe some like I pick at the wall like with a knife. You probably see a crux kind of like crudely like scraped into the wall. The crux was here.
Mm-hmm.
What a stealthy infiltrator we've got here.
Yeah. So I think Naga looks at the cigarette butts and says, "You got any on you?"
I think
Run
Crux
along.
looks a little surprised. Yeah, I've got some. And then as she pulls them out, the cube is going to fall out onto the ground. She's not going to notice it for a hot second, and then when she goes to put the cigarettes back in her pocket, she's going to be like,
It's a nice paperweight you got there.
"Yeah, it isn't it great? Good for reading."
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna tell anyone. You do whatever you want to do.
You mean that?
Of course.
Okay. Yeah. It's just like, it had this thing, and it was talking to me, and it was in my voice, and like I was like, we had this connection, and it had my heartbeat, and like I just had to know. Like I don't. It just called me.
Okay. Still not gonna tell anybody, but I mean, I don't know about this kind of stuff, but it doesn't sound great that it's talking to you. Like, Boxleys don't normally talk to people.
I guess you're not looking at the right kind of boxes.
I guess not.
Is there anything else I'm gonna grab from the scene? So that's a fine quip to edit there, unless there's anything else you want to do.
That's fine.
Hell yeah. So Naga, I don't know how you lose. Well, I guess you lose stress by being chill. So roll me a d6. Naga.
A cigarette. Naga got to light one up.
Yeah.
Maybe you can end it there. Yeah, maybe lighting up cigarettes.
I got a 6.
Oh,
I only
boy.
have 3 stress.
Oh boy. All right. Okay. So if your result would heal more stress than you have, then you've overindulged. I guess the two of you do smoke cigarettes. I don't know. Are you overindulged at this moment? You carve your name next to Crux's. What does that look like?
I think Naga will carve her the tags for her her gang, like the old gang tag.
Okay, so choose one way you overindulge from the following: First one, attract trouble. Roll an additional entanglement. Okay. 2, brag. Take -2 trust with your patron faction. I will say this will negate what Verb just did. So maybe not that. Maybe not that. AWOL. Your pilot vanishes for a few weeks. Play a different pilot until this one returns from their vacation. This is part of why Blades in the Dark can sometimes feel like, oh, the crew matters more than the characters, because you can't literally just shut them off for like a session for a mission because you overindulge. Or impropriety. You reset your relationship with the pilot that joined you to 0. If your relationship is already at 0, you take the level 1 harm alone. I guess it's attract trouble, unless you want to.
Yeah.
Unless.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You know me very well.
Yes. And you have that slippery ability, which means I roll twice, and let me double check what that means. When you roll assignments, roll twice and keep the one you want. Okay. I'm gonna roll actual physical dice. It's 3 dice. The table is on page 7 in the reference sheets. The faction you target is Exodus, who now has a -1. Who I say now, you've got a -1. All right, roll this. Okay, the highest is a 6. That's another requisition. Told you should have picked some upgrades to get rid of, but I'll roll a second time and we'll see what you get there. Okay, I got 3 2s. 2 is fire. Okay, the 2 is actually not. I'll roll this again because the number 2 is fire team trouble, and you don't have a fire team, and I don't want to make you have to do requisition again because I do want to give you all that choice. That's why you got that ability. But if you did have a fire team, they would be in trouble. All right. Okay, that's slightly better. The other choice is debriefing, which is kind of like what Verb did, but one of your squad is questioned by your superiors. One of the pilots or a cohort is taken in to be grilled. Make a fortune roll to see how well they resist the pressure, or bribe the grunts grabbing the person with 1 personnel. So what happens when you try to resist the pressure is if you roll 1 to 3, you take level 2 harm. If you roll 4 to 5, you take -2 trust. If you roll to 6, it's A-okay. Or you can bribe the grunts with 1 personnel. I would say the person who's probably going to be questioned is Crux, because it makes sense. Actually, no. Actually, maybe. No, actually, no. Maybe it's not Crux. Maybe it's JD. Crux seems like the obvious one, but Crux is good at despite tossing the paperweight there. I imagine she's good at hiding stuff at least. So I think they're gonna come for JD, if that's okay. If you pick that, you can pick requisition again, which is what you did last time. And I will say you have 1 supply point left, so you can bribe these grunts for sure. But yeah, it's up to the squad. Do you want to face another requisition or face debriefing?
I'm okay with being questioned. I don't know what it would be about, but I'm cool with it.
Okay. But as I was saying, if you don't want to make the roll because it's a dice roll, you can spend that last supply point to like bribe the people coming for you, if you want.
What were the rolls again? Okay.
If you roll 1 to 3, you take level 2 harm. If you roll 4 to 5, you take -2 trust, which again will negate what Verb did. If you roll 6, you resist, as in like it's fine.
I mean, I don't want to cancel out what Verb already did.
I won't feel bad if you do, so don't worry.
Okay then. Yeah, let's go with that.
Cool. I think. All right. So, I think like, what do these grunts look like when they like come through? So we can color in a bit more of the different factions working for the church.
Is this a specific church squad or is this?
Okay. All right. I'm gonna ask. Naga. You declared a rival some time ago, an Exodus agent by the name of Abel Pembroke. Do you know what squad they'd be in? I assume Treb closed their camera because they're not there. That's why they're not answering. Oh, there you are.
You just look at the squads and factions list.
If we think none of those fit, we can like just make up a squad. Also, I see that last name he chose. References, I get it. Sorry, in the previous Beam Saber game we played, the squad they played was an oligarchy squad devoted to House Pembroke.
Yeah, that was totally intentional. Yep.
Oh, what? Okay, all right, okay, all right. What squad do you think they'd be in? And also, what are their pronouns?
I think it's probably no. Say the Regional Development Council.
Oh wow. Oh, sorry, I misread something. Okay, cool. Sorry, I misread Exodus for some reason because Exodus is a thing. I thought they were the church. Never mind. All right. Abel Pembroke. I'll keep that in mind anyway. Actually, this is good for another thing. Sorry, I misread something. So all right, that's my boo boo. All right, never mind myself. Regional Development Council. I'll keep that in mind for another thing. JD, I think the squad that comes for you is the Breath of Faith. For sure. They are kind of like, oh bother, my internet's messing with me, isn't it? Oh, there we go. All right, sorry, my internet just froze there for a moment. The Breath of Faith are like the personal agents of one of the head honchos. I'm imagining the church has like a council, and the faith is like one of like of 5 as part of this council. But the faith is kind of like the spy master.
Oh, good. Okay. Cool.
So yeah, I think when these grunts kind of come for you, they bring you to like, well, they bring you to like this building on the outskirts of the theme park. And because I just said they're spy masters, I guess they just look like regular grunts, if that's okay.
Yeah, I imagine they wouldn't have any identifiable uniforms or markings or anything.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at the list of names. I don't know if I want that. Give me a second. And I think would they take you to this church, and it's like, not church, this building that's kind of like bombed out. Actually, no, let's say it's a church. It's a church you recognize is not part of the celestial myriad. It's like just a church on Earth. And it's fairly open. You're kind of like led into like these pews, and there's kind of like just this person standing on the end. We'll say this is like a proper like Catholic church, as in like this isn't part of the celestial myriad, but this is one of the faiths on Earth. And there's like a figure at the end, kind of like looking at the altar. They are kind of like, I'm just trying to find a name. Don't want that. Do I want that? Okay. they're kind of like, at the distance, they look like they're wearing like this rather severe kind of black suit. And they've got like this rather severe cut as well. It's almost like a monk kind of like cut, except it comes up to the ears. And they speak in a really soft voice that rings out in this church. I think they say your real name. You don't have to decide what it is right now. They can just say your real name.
Okay.
Oh yes, Naga, you need to make a new belief about Crux. But yeah, they say your name, and then they wave a hand, and you can see it's gloved. It's a bit, they're wearing black gloves. And say like, yeah, say your name. Come closer.
I think like at first I just freeze. Like it's been a long time since anyone has said my real name, and like I maybe even forgot like that it existed. And then like, oh shit. And yeah, I come closer.
I hope my people treated you well bringing you here.
Aside from not telling me what any of this was about, yes.
Oh, we're just here to talk. The faith has deigned to direct some of its attention to your squad, and well, there's quite a collection of people you work with. I think they call you JD here now, just to like make you feel more kind of a bit more at ease.
You could say that, yeah. That's what makes us effective. We have a wide variety of talents.
I hope such a mix of talents hasn't been a burden on you.
No.
I think like they turn around and you can see that like, I don't think there's any surprise. I had an idea. I was like, should I? Actually, you know what, feck it. They look like an older Crux. Like older by 10 years, by a decade. But with like completely like different hair. But their eyes are a bit different. You can see like the irises are like this metallic gray. And it's hard to tell whether that's just the color of their eyes or like if something's in their eyes. But like they kind of like pin you down with like this stare, and say, well, I'm glad to hear that this squad of yours is working well for you. We were worried when you were placed in there that you would not gel with any of them.
That I wouldn't gel with it. And I can assure you I'm pretty easy to get along with.
I think here's where you make the roll. This is, let's see. This is, fortune roll. It doesn't really say what you roll with. Let me double check. Using the squad's tier. Okay, so you roll 1 dice.
1 dice, okay. 6.
Ooh, hell yeah. You resist the pressure. How do you like stand up for your squad? How do you like resist this person's like gaze?
I'm telling the truth. I used to be a teacher at like a technical college, and I'm used to dealing with people with a variety of backgrounds and a variety of talents, and like that. I do have some people skills, although I don't necessarily use them very often. And like I'm used to deflecting and de-escalating these kinds of situations where like it's all conversation. There's no like physical threat, but there's this sort of implied, risk to it. Like this isn't my favorite situation, but this is something I know how to do.
I think you say that. Oh, go ahead. Is there anything
No,
else?
go ahead.
I think you say that, and there's like an uncomfortable, like 20-second, 30-second silence as this person kind of like stares at you very blankly, and then without warning, they break out into a smile, and it's a lot like how Crux smiles. It's actually really creepy because this person's like 10 years older, or it looks like a 10-year Crux that's 10 years older. And he just says, well, I'm glad to see you're working out then. We have very high hopes for your squad, nameless as it is right now, but I think like they kind of like come over and like pat you on the shoulder. But glad to know you're working out. And there's a tone in their voice that's saying, get out.
No problem. I will absolutely get out.
Yeah. I think
And
like
go
when
ask
they
Crux like, hey,
can I add
do you
one
know where
thing
your
before
father is?
Can I add one thing before you talk to Crux?
Sure.
I think when the grunts drive you back, they're just talking to each other, not really talking to you, and they're like, huh, they survived a meeting with the cuckoo. Huh, that's interesting. All right, cool.
Cool. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, I'm using bird names at the moment.
Bird names are usually good.
Yeah, there's a squad here. There's like just the followers of someone called the Shrike. Don't know who that is. Maybe we'll meet them. But yeah, so you survived talking to one of the agents of the Breath of Faith. Good luck with that. But yeah, you say that to Crux. Crux, how do you respond to that question?
I like, do you have any relatives that, because I just met someone who looks a lot like you.
No relatives. As far as I'm concerned, I have no family. I mean, except you guys, but
Well, yeah, there's some member of the church, the cuckoo.
oh,
I swear they looked like they could be your sibling clone.
Really? I don't look anything like them. I've met the cuckoo before. I am much prettier than they are.
You are, but they're, well, they look like they could be related to you.
Take
I don't know.
that back. I share no kind of resemblance with this cuckoo.
You sure? Not at all? Because
I mean, unless they have cubes talking to them too.
as far as I know, they don't. I didn't see them talking to any cubes. They just talked to me. They just wanted to know how I was getting along with the rest of the squad. And I gotta tell you, I am not the person I would have expected them to question about that. But
Oh, you had a one-on-one with the cuckoo?
yeah.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
It didn't seem good.
No.
I thought there was probably more to it than that. What's that usually mean?
I mean, I think that means that they're watching you, but they asked about the squad and how you were adjusting.
Yeah. Something like that. Which
I don't like that. I don't like the sound of that.
there was never any indication that I might not adjust to this squad well. I don't know why that was suddenly a question, but yeah, it was very strange. They're watching me, huh? Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing, but it's good to know.
No. Well, don't do anything too suspicious, I guess.
Right? I'll refrain. You may not want. I want to know, but you maybe don't want to tell me whatever you find out.
I'll keep that in mind. But I think it's also important that we all stay on the same page. If you're being watched, then we're all being watched at this point.
Yeah, you're probably right.
All right. Jeez, that's quite a note. Maybe later tonight, Crux, you get an email from the email address you never respond to, and it's just one line, just saying.
So, just to let you know what the belief I put for Crux is that Crux could stand to loosen up a bit more, just because, like, from Naga's point of view, you're always kind of, shy. So.
Hell yeah. All right. I think what we're gonna do is we have a couple more downtime actions to do, and then we're just gonna set up what the Cenotaph is proposing their mission is, and then if we have time, maybe roll an engagement. We'll see, or do some digging. But yeah, I think that's all we'll do for this session. I think we have 3 more downtime activities. Naga's used up all of theirs. And this could be simple. It could be training, enhancing your mech, or more excuse to hang out with folks, which is always great. Oh yeah, that email that Crux gets is from the email address that she never responds to, I suppose, because why would you want to? And it's just one line. There's no signatures or anything. There's no indication, and the email is just a garbled string of words, but you know who it's from. And it just says, JD's rather lovely, aren't they? All right, so who else has downtime actions to do? You can always, you're not locked into just, you can spend your downtime activity to do one you've already done. So I would say right now, if you want to keep working on your project or training, you have an idea, JD, what you want to do?
I do. I have what? So this is dumb because I think I came up with the name, but what was the name of the person I ran into or avoided running into, but saw in the crash station?
Their name is Dust Eye.
Dust Eye, right. I would like to find out what the deal is with Dust Eye.
Yeah. How are you doing that? Just frame me, how is JD doing that?
That is a very good question. I think I start out with just because I thought they were dead. So I think I maybe just start out with searching for obituaries, death records.
Okay.
From there.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a 4-step clock because you saw them wearing a logo from one of the Exodus squads. If I remember correctly, it was the clicked on the wrong tab. The Alderman Mergers and Acquisitions, which is a corporation all about stealing items and info. Acquisitions, sure. So it's going to be 4 steps. What action are you rolling to be looking into this?
I think this is study.
Ooh.
Which I have no marks in.
Yeah. Oh, you still have 1 personnel point. You can spend that to get a die. Because otherwise you'd be rolling 2d6 and take the lowest.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. All right, so that supply point is gone. So roll me a d6.
It's turning. 4.
All right, you get 2 ticks, so you are halfway there.
Okay.
So what do you find about Dust Eye, do you think?
That is a very good question. I think I do find an obituary. That says they died in an explosion
Yeah.
at like some industrial place they were working.
Yeah. I think I want to add into that like that industrial place, you notice like there's like a small like little like mention of that same industrial place, or probably like on a newspaper or like some news article 2 days beforehand that it was bought out by a squad from Exodus Republic, probably Alderman. Yeah, it was bought out, and then 2 days later, boom, explosion. Actually, no, not 2 days. That's too obvious. 2 months. Let's say 2 months. And yeah, that's quite suspicious. A lot of people went missing, or just presumed dead, including your friend
Yeah.
Dust Eye. Oh, I say friend. I framed them as like, who's the person you like
Who's
least?
the person you like the least? Yeah. My acquaintance does die.
Yeah. Yeah, but like, definitely, there was a notice. There was a death notice. So what the hell is he doing there when you saw
Yeah.
him? Okay, cool. So that's all your downtime actions. Let's see, I think only Crux and Verb have downtime actions left. I'll read out some of the other options that are like, you don't have to frame too much. Yeah, there's also a long-term project as always. There's training. There is enhance, which is like improving your vehicle, and once you fill up that track, you get a new quirk. So other things. Verb, I see you unmuted there.
Long-term project.
Hell yeah.
I want to study why, like, what is their squad called? What exactly Takuma Transportation Solutions was getting at when they said that they had surpassed, or they'd achieved their own godhood or whatever. Like, what did they mean by that? And how can I use that to my own?
Okay, all right, cool. What how are you doing that? Like, how's Verb doing that?
I was thinking either maybe study or like maybe like interface, like trying to like hack like into their data net or something to sort of like, it could be news articles, it could be whatever, all those kind of things. I'm Googling them basically.
Okay, study. That sounds like a study. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Whew. I think this is gonna be in the interest of, because I want to see these clocks finish. I don't want to put anything on an 8 tick as an 8 tick clock. I think it's gonna be 6.
Okay.
We only have like another month of this, and
Yeah.
good. Yeah. So 6 ticks, I'd say. You mark that in, let's see, starts at row 39. There's a box for long-term projects in your sheet. But yeah, so study, you have 1 in it, so you just roll a d6.
Cool. Gonna re-roll that leftmost one. Did it give me a 1 again?
Aww.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, bother. Okay, that's 1 tick. I think when you Google them, you get their website, you get their promo packages, you get their, business plans. They're a transport company first and foremost, or at least so they're an armed goods transport company as well. They ship supplies. They're logistics. If there were a squad, they'd be logistics. So you get a lot of corporate waffle. Also, you get newsletters of their ace pilot Titania Cradle. I think you actually, I'll give you one thing because of this one tick. The most you get from this Googling is they just popped up in the news quite recently. Specifically, Titania Credo, who you now see is not just their ace pilot, but also one of their head scientists. I think you see that at like on a masthead or something in the corporate page. And yeah, she just popped up on like some science news article that was just published the day before about how actually no, it's not a science article, it's a TED talk.
Right.
Yeah, she's giving out a TED talk, and I just want to frame Verb watching this TED talk. It's just, and Titania's there. She's she's controlling the room. She's I imagine, I don't know if you all know this, like there's that Ridley Scott film Prometheus, and they did like for it one of their viral marketing things, like they did Guy Pearce did a TED talk as his character. It was the CEO, Wayland. I'll link to all the email later, but it's kind of like that vibe. It's all these like floating holographic projections. It's like the best skewering of a TED talk that exists, or at least the concept of TED talks. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, it's kind of like that vibe, and it's like in front of this arena-like crowd, and she's talking waffle. She's talking buzzwords. She's talking about about the limits of humanity and how they can be transcended and all that fun stuff. It's so overproduced. It's nauseating. The most you can get out of it is that there's conviction in her voice, but it's hard to make sense what the hell she's talking about.
So Verb has a lot of practice listening to the church's sermons and a similar level of overblown kind of detail. Yeah, is she able to sort of like sift any small nuggets of like concrete info from all that?
There's a line that jumps out to you. It's not much because again, you only got one tick, but I think she says like she foresees that war will be fully fought in the landscape of ideas, and she says that with far more conviction than you probably expect, because on its own that sentence means nonsense. But yeah, war someday will be fought fully, and she emphasizes the word fully, on the landscape of ideas.
So I'll like print out a picture from like her like corporate like headshot or whatever. I'll pull out like a ivory handled switchblade and like that to my like bunk wall or whatever, because I want to officially declare her as a rival.
Oh boy, once rivals show up in the mission, it's gonna be great. Y'all gonna see how oh gosh. Okay, so add her to, there's no place to put it there. You can put her under like that allies, but mark the box on the right column, not the left. I think that's how Naga put down their rival, the one I falsely teased, Mr. Abel Pembroke. We'll see him probably next time. Okay, all right, cool. You're not declared a rival. Let me actually very quickly look up. I think there is one more thing you do when you declare a rival, and I think you need Naga. You need to do this as well. Let me find it. Nope, that's not it. Here we go. So when you declare a rival, you add the rival to your pilot's connection sheet you mark one tick to their connection clock, and you write a belief about them. So not only do you have your squad's relationship clocks, you now have a relationship clock with your rival.
Okay.
So that's great. Also, that lowers your relationship with that squad by 1 when you declare a rival. So that's great as well. So yeah. Yeah, so we'll handle that later. But yeah, don't forget to add Titania Cradle to your connection sheet of Verb, and for Naga, yeah, add Abel Pembroke to your connection as well. Again, when you interact more with your rival, you get XP for that. When you defeat a rival in a mission, you get 2 XP, so that's nice. So there is incentive to declaring a rival. It's just when they show up, there's so much. They are so much. Okay. All right. So I think what we'll do last is just like set up the Cenotaph's proposed mission, if that's okay, folks. Oh, I think Crux, you still have one more downtime activity.
Yeah. I think I wanted to salvage. Oh my god, what is talking? Sorry. That was my phone.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think I was wanting to salvage.
I will say I would kind of caution against that because it's not easy getting another vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me double check that because vehicles are a big thing. Let me acquire a new vehicle. Yeah, because like salvage is like taking apart. Yeah, salvage. You take apart the vehicle and you're kind of destroying it.
Yeah.
Were you gonna do that to your backpack, Mick?
No, I was not. I was just kind of feeling destructive. So I think maybe what I'll do then instead is train.
Okay.
And what I might do is I might set up like this kind of scrapyard just of like old timey stuff from back before the war. And I think I'll probably just go in there with my mech and start like kind of like stepping on things with my sharp pointy spider legs and just kind of destroying things in there.
What track are you training?
Let's see. What's on this? Let's go with Prowl. Yeah, Prowl. Or wait, no, Wreck. That seems, brutal force, Wreck. We're gonna go with that.
I would say when you train, you actually pick like the category.
Hey, wait, no.
Which is, but you can pick the category that Wreck and Prowl are under.
Okay.
Prowess.
Oh, yeah. The Prowess.
Yes, and you have the upgrade that lets you mark 2 XP instead of 1.
Okay.
Cool. So yeah, mark 2 XP there. Yeah, you're on your way. You're on your way to at least getting Wreck.
I'm so excited.
Hell yeah. All right. So I think that's everyone's downtime actions. I think so. Okay, cool. So I'll bring you back to your kind of crappy briefing room. The weird holograms and the smell and the dripping. And I think when we just kind of cut the 4 of you there, and you're with the commander of the Cenotaph, Alaya Friedland. I'm gonna make a separate tab listing all these NPCs because there's now a lot of them. She is really tall. I cannot emphasize enough how tall she is. She's like Kevin Nash tall. Nearly 7 foot. I was saying now she's this tall black lady who kind of has like a mini fro going on. She's wearing this like big raincoat around her, and she's looking at the four of you as if like she was told to come here and make amends. And I think like she just kind of like plugs in like this chit next on your holograph table, and it pops up a view of the river that's kind of like separating the broken bank from the rest of Journey City. And she says, "We had a bad run-in with Exodus Republic's forces. As it turns out, the Regional Developmental Council, they protect their interests with some ferocity. But we managed to accomplish most of what we need to do, and found some intel in the process." And she twiddles with some of the toggles on the holograph table, and it zooms in, and you'll see there is like it zooms into like a representation of a fairly large barge that's kind of like ambling along the river. We found intelligence that the Regional Developmental Council of Exodus Republic Incorporated, they're taking part in some kind of auction, some clandestine secret auction. There's going to be a party there held to celebrate a corporation of some sort that's coming in to Journey City. Some nobodies called civility trading, but it's all just a cover for an auction for something that will be that's something we cannot stand to have anyone else have. We have very good intel that they're auctioning one of our own. Well, the body of one of our own. Now, yes, I know this might sound really frivolous, but as it stands, it is something that we in the Cenotaph cannot abide. I think like she kind of like sighs as if like she's trying to figure out like how to like reveal this last bit of info. And she says, "If you must know, since I know that the Meridian and a bunch of others are twisting your hand into helping us with this, and frankly, if we could go to any other squad, we would, but some solidarity is needed, I suppose. This body might be of interest to some of you. And I think they bring up a picture, and let's see, y'all have ridiculous backstories. Which one is this? Which PC? Naga, I choose you. This is a member of your gang. Who was the one who really wanted to make it out of the gang? Like, you know, the the very cliched, like, you know, I'm saving up. I'm saving up to get me a spaceship, get out of here.
Okay, let's see. Abella Fausto.
Ooh, can you write that in the chat?
Yeah.
Put in my. And what are their pronouns?
They, them.
Okay. Yeah. So she brings up a picture of Abella Fausto. And they look a bit older than when you last saw them because you all were sent to penance detail. You don't know where they were sent. But yeah, I just say, yeah, their bodies being auctioned off.
Why?
Because you don't know where this person was when they died, do you?
No.
Well, and I think she looks at like a risk computer thing, see if she's classified to tell you this. Right before she died, right before they died, they were piloting an experimental mech. I believe it's called the Miracle Engine X1 or something. And apparently, according to intelligence, Exodus and all the corporations vying for it believe that there's info within them that could be useful. So I suppose retrieving their body would be beneficial to the church, but frankly, that's immaterial compared to laying a comrade to rest properly.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Anyone else have? I think I will just lay out the mission there, and then we'll probably like wrap up soon. But does anyone else have any reactions to the scene? Because like you can clearly tell how Naga's feeling.
Oh, I think after we kind of get that brief mission and end our communication, I would ask Naga, like, did you know that person? You seemed to react as if you did.
They were a friend.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Perhaps you should take point on this mission.
Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate that.
I'll be at your disposal. No one should have to endure the X1.
What is it? You know something about that?
I only know that I operate the X2, and I should hold myself grateful. They don't talk about what happened with the X1.
Right. Well, let's see what we got to work with, I guess.
Okay. Then what I'll do is I'll ask him sort of from like closing shots of each character as they're kind of like preparing, gearing up for this mission. So which I'll give the proper like rundown of like target, ROE, rules, objective next week. But you got the gist of it, which is there's a secret auction for a body at this yacht or barge, big enough kind of boat that's luxury. But yeah, what's kind of like the last shot we see of each character is kind of like preparing and thinking about it. And anyone has an idea, feel free to like jump in.
We see Verb like in her dressing room, or whatever equivalent we have on base, and like she's looking over her shoulder and her back is to the mirror, and like her back is exposed, and you see like these like big like circular metal like ports that are like installed in her spinal column that like are how she interfaces with her mech. So it's like she's just kind of pondering and thinking about the X1 and like if you think this is intense and it's pretty intense on screen, then like she's just like, man, what did the X1 people go through?
Yeah, absolutely. Naga can go last. That seems fitting. Sorry, I saw you mute there, JD. Do you have an idea, or do you want to like?
I do not have an idea. I thought I did,
Okay.
but no, I don't.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and go. So I think that we see Crux back in her in that little hole that Naga found her in. And she's kind of burying the cube in there. Like there's this little like rock space that she can kind of remove and like place in there. And then I think we see a bunch of other like random techie things in that hole as well. And like it kind of all comes spilling out, and then she kind of like pushes it all back in and kind of like closes up the hole and looks around carefully and lights another cigarette and starts carving things into the wall again.
Someone save these kids. I say kids. JD did teach in college. So.
Yeah, I maybe everyone else is a kid, but
know,
I'm bucking the anime trend and being over 21.
That would be booking it, yeah.
I swear, like, if I watched a lot of anime, I would be convinced that Japan just kills everyone at age 20. It's like the slogans run, country. So yes, I'm bucking the trend. Well, I wasn't thinking about that when I decided what my past was, but speaking of which, I think that actually the last shot of JD is them looking up a list of other names of people they knew who disappeared or died in that explosion, because like if one of them's still alive, what about the others?
What about finally Naga? Yeah, just what about? Maybe they're alive. But yeah, Naga, what's the last we see?
So I think Naga is like leaning over the holographic display, cigarette sort of like loosely in their mouth, and the smoke is sort of diffusing the light of the hologram a little, and she's just going through the mission notes and brings up the picture of her friend Abella, and fishes out from her jacket an older picture of her crew when they were all together, and just stares at it and goes back to the screen.
War is heck. All right. Okay, let's do XP. I apologize that we did not get into action. So like the first, your first XP trigger probably won't matter. But because screw it, I'm running this game. And y'all did. I say I did. I especially love everything y'all did. I think because we didn't get to into mech action, I'll just give y'all an XP each. It'll be fine. It'll be all right. I say if that's okay, but like, come on, don't say no to one free XP. I will go through the other XP triggers with y'all, because I'm curious how y'all went through that. So we'll start with our ace with Verb. Did you? I guess it's the same question for everyone. Did you express your history, tragedy, or opening?
Yeah, I talked a little bit about my history, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, if you did it once, take 1 XP. If you think it happens multiple times, take 2 XP.
Yeah, I did touch on my tragedy a little bit too. So
Even if it's a little bit, that's perfectly fine.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we saw your back. So always a great place to show when you've been experimented on, the back. All right, so take 2 XP for that. Did you struggle because of your beliefs, scars, or quirks?
Yeah, so like I have this belief about JD that they're a lost soul, and I'm trying to be their shepherd. And I think I tried to, like get that going a bit, but they're still set in their ways.
Yeah, take 1 XP for that. And as always, you can either put that in your playbook XP or any of the 5 other trackers you have. I just saw your belief for your rival. It's magnificently petty for someone you declared to be a rival. All right, Crux. Like I said, everyone gets 1 XP because we didn't do mech action. But did you express your history, tragedy, or opening?
I think so. Yeah. The exploration of the cube again, I think, is a continuation of exploring what I am.
Yeah. Yeah, we learned more about your history. Like, I'm glad I'm at one of the stars that no one else is gonna hear. So I'm glad you ran with like one of like I don't know what to expect now, knowing that you know who the cuckoo is. But that's great. That's just lovely. So I think that's a great expression of like history that I didn't know was there. So I can take another XP for that. Did you struggle because of your beliefs, scars, or quirks?
So I think that I struggled when I was interacting with Naga because one of my belief of Naga is that they're very intimidating. And so I think that Crux is not her normal self. And so she was a little bit more jumpier than she would normally be.
Hell yeah, take an XP for that. Cool. JD, did you express your history, tragedy, or opening?
Yeah, I think I expressed my tragedy. I like investigating Dust Eye.
I think you expressed your history as well, and you told the cuckoo, "I know how to deal with people.
Oh yeah,
I was
true.
trained for this." Yeah. So take 2 XP.
Cool.
And did you struggle because of your beliefs, scars, or quirks?
I do have this belief about Verb that I think was that I maybe like had to change my mind about a bit, which is that like she's more interested in just showing off than winning the fight. And like my next one is that she understands more than she lets on. I think like I realize there's more to her than just this like the face of the group.
Did you think you also struggled with your belief about Crux, given that she shared a secret with you and your belief about Crux is you don't trust her?
Like I wouldn't share a secret with her, but she's like just trusting me, which is I think that was unexpected, I think.
Yeah. So I think that's another XP, I think, for
Okay.
both those incidents. It is what happens to everyone that interact with JD. JD gets the
Yeah.
XP. All right. And last but not least, Naga. Did you express your history, tragedy, or opening?
I think I did, yeah. Like, definitely in the end there, but also like I started off by trying to find out more information about the who betrayed the crew. So
Yeah, absolutely. Take the 2 XP.
Okay.
So did you struggle because of your beliefs, scars, or quirks?
So when I was talking to Crux, I mean Naga, Naga's belief about Crux was Crux needs someone looking out for them. I'd just rather it wasn't me. And like I feel like like she was trying to like ask Crux basically to be careful with the box, but she doesn't really understand that issue. She doesn't really understand what it is or what it does. So she wasn't really sure how to advise there.
Oh yeah. Take her XP. That makes sense. Yeah. You used to be a leader, team leader, but it's hard to get back into that, especially what happened with your gang. All right, crew XP. We did not execute successful mission or any mission. We just got into our feelings, which is not a bad thing to do. Always good to get into your feelings. Did you face off against challenges above your pay grade? I'm going to say yes once when JD was hauled in for a debriefing, because the Breath of Fate is like 2 tiers above you. Yes, you absolutely can face challenges from squads within your faction. They have their own agendas. So I'll say that gives you 1 XP. You bolster your squad's reputation or develop a new one. Y'all are enigmatic as fuck. Y'all are weirdos. For sure. I mean, you mostly interacted with each other, but the moments when you interact with others, I think definitely there's kind of like there's a lot going on. Again, I'm going back to that talk with JD and the Cuckoo, or the Cuckoo's trying to feel you out, and JD's like, no, I'm just normal. I did college. That's all I did. And they're like, okay, sure, fine. Talk to the wrong person, didn't I? So I think that's another XP for sure. And express the goals, inner conflict, or sense of nature of the squad. Yeah, we got that all out in the open. Everyone kind of like, I think we all have like a better idea of all this weird band of misfits, this found family band of misfits. I'll say that happened multiple times. Takes 2 XP. You got another advance. See, told you all. It wouldn't be hard. Once things get rolling, you'll get another advance. So we'll think about that between now and then. But I'm going to stop the recording. We'll do the debrief afterwards. But yeah, thank you all so much. That was lovely. We got through downtime. I expected it to take the entire session because Beam Saber downtime takes a lot, but I think it's all well worth it, honestly. Absolutely. All right, I'll stop recording, but I always want to shout out on recording to anyone who's watching that these folks are great. And the best way to play with these folks, you play with the gauntlet. Links down there. Check it out. All right, I'll see you all YouTube. Bye bye.